YouTube channel, One Race, Human Race, All Human. Today is Thursday, March 10th, 2022. Please continue to wear your mask. Please. It's very important.
As we were close to COVID patients without a vaccine, it was an effective mask that helped us. Now, think about an airport. You've got people traveling from all over the world, meeting, going between U.S. cities, restaurants. And my biggest concern is really congestion at the terminals, not as much as being in an aircraft with the HEPA air filtration system. So to me, it makes 100% sense that we are extending. I still think that this should be an indefinite extension until the pandemic actually becomes an endemic, and we're far from that.
Do we know who is dying every day? You said about 1,600 people in the United States are dying every day. Are they almost entirely unvaccinated individuals, unboosted individuals? Do we know?
You know, we just ran some data about a couple of weeks ago on a meeting. I was on a Zoom call meeting with my hospital, which is a pretty big hospital system, and we went through pretty much each demographic and age group. And 98.8% of people in my hospital that are in ICUs that are dying are unvaccinated. We still have a number of people that are there, elderly with diabetes, hypertension, obesity, that may not be boosted, but the majority of people that are severely sick are people that are unvaccinated.
Speaking of masks, a new study out today in the journal Pediatrics shows that school districts that have universal masking, they reduce the spread of COVID in their school districts by a whopping 72% compared with school districts that have optional or no mask usage. Does this mean, in your medical opinion, that kids should keep wearing masks in schools?
Yes, I mean, I definitely think that when you step out of your bubble, which is your home, and you're around people whose vaccination status you don't know, I'm still a medical analyst that thinks that we should be wearing masks. And Jake, what's also most important is the quality of masks. I can tell you that the number of people I correct at work, I'm a primary care doctor seeing about 20 patients, a good 40% of patients are not wearing the right mask, and it doesn't have the right fit. So a K95 or an N95 mask, I definitely think should be worn in schools, not only to protect our children, but to protect the teachers who might be immunocompromised and older.
New preliminary CDC data out this afternoon shows that this year's flu vaccine is not as effective in fighting off the most common flu virus, even though the flu season's been pretty mild compared to pre-pandemic flu seasons. Does that surprise you?
Oh, no, it doesn't. You know, actually, every year when we look at the flu vaccine, the efficacy, it's about 40 to 60% in trying to prevent the onset of influenza against mild disease. Now, the bad news is this year was only 16% against the most dangerous strain, which potentially could have caused a lot of hospitalizations, but it never took off. And yeah, this year's, vaccine was definitely ineffective, but the good news is the same mitigation guidelines that we have taken to prevent COVID-19 basically has also prevented a surge of flu cases. I didn't see any flu cases last year, Jake. This year, I just saw 2. So that's the good news.
Dr. Saju Matthew, thank you so much for your time today, your expertise. Appreciate it. Coming up, it's a new low. Russia now claiming Ukrainian victims of their own shelling are, quote, crisis actors. Stay with us.
You know where he learned that from.